Hello everyone, it's Aki from Bring Forth. This is set 27 part 2, I believe, or set 27 part, set 28 part 1, depending on how I view my sleep cycle. I think this is going to be 28. This is set 28 part 1. And I would like to discuss some private matters relating to the community where I'm living. I have fairly good relations with the community. I'm getting along. Nobody is making open threats about me, and the situation seems calm. Both of the guys who were in on the stealing of my laptop have been thrown out of the floors area, which is the higher class homeless region, not the bunked bed apartment style. This is like the officers sections. They've both been thrown out and are in their own messes. And to me, the whole situation resolved well. As to the violence in the background, I'm going to remove the previous entries and remain as this being the only entry I have about the life situation here. And as for the violence part, there are the occasional scuffle and hard crime in the region, but it seems to me that the police are saying in this country that you do not have to help the police in this country. So from my point of view, the violence isn't that bad, but it is traumatizing if you're not prepared for it. So you have to understand that it's not really a homeless shelter in as much as it seems to be the local thieves guild. So take my view with what you hear. So that is how I'm talking to the community at large. Hi there. And I spent my last official money on this remaining bag of weed and some which I have smoked. And I will be receiving the $100 donation from one of the viewers in about 2 or 3 days. That should keep me going until about the 20th. I have paid for all my food, and all the debts that I have been able to pay have been good. And I have been attending to every one of them except one. And actually 2 of them, and one of them I should have had money for, and the second one I have not contacted when I can pay back, but it will be this month because I'm now relying that the $100 donation goes through. It will be about 80 euros, of which about €40 to 60 will be used on debts. It should cover me until the latter part of the month when I may have to start borrowing again. I'm also now obligated to report to the unemployment office as I requested. The medical service has changed my status from an unemployable psychotic behavior to employable at my request. So I'm officially seeking out of the medical system. I'm checking out. Asking to be maintained on the steroid dose, which is interesting. I figure that you should get vaccines, but we have to discuss what if we just take a efficient view on the needle concept and inject everybody once a month. So what would we get? Kind of vaccine. That's what I'm working with here. That's what I'm seeing as the proper behavior. crowd contributions to my pod stream, or ideas on what to discuss. Also, they might make the internet that is currently freely available in my town in the form of Wi-Fi expensive. The town may no longer pay for it. No! I must buy my own internet device. I feel like I should talk to Ra one moment. Were there any of these entities then incarnated in second density before the 75,000 year cycle? This is incorrect. These particular entities were not incarnate in the time-space third density, that is the so-called inner planes undergoing the process of healing and approaching realization of their action. That is a long question. Thank you, it bears weight in my way of thinking also. I appreciate what you have told me. Now I would like to consider the origin of catalyst. And first we have the condition of mind-body-spirit complex, which is, as a function of the first distortion, has reached a condition of blockage or partial blockage of one or more energy centers. I will assume that the catalyst is necessarily only if there is at least partial blockage of one energy center. Is this correct? No. That is a good answer. This thing creates, I would assume, the planetary or racial mind. Is this correct? No. Is there anything that we can do to alleviate this situation? There is a course of therapy that would aid the situation, however, we do not recommend it as its condition is more benign than the treatment. In that case, she would like to know the function of energy transfer during the session. The function of this energy transfer is most helpful in the one that it serves to strengthen the channel through which the instrument contact is received. The contact itself will monitor the condition of the instrument and cease communication when the distortion of the instrument begin to fluctuate towards the distortion of weakness or pain. However, while the contact is ongoing, the strength of the channel through which the contact flows may be aided by the energy transfer which you spoke. Then you had mentioned in an earlier session that the experimental catalyst was first experienced by the South Pole and appears with respect to survival. That's why I asked the question, and I can you expand on that concept? We have addressed the filtering process by which the incoming energies are pulled upward according to the distortion of each energy center and the strength of will or desire emanating from the awareness of inner light, which may be more specific. If we may be more specific, please query specifically. Now is there the two areas then that the instrument can look to for curing this problem. I understand that the yellow ray pluggage problem has completely repaired, shall I say. If this is not correct, could you make suggestions on that, please? Each entity must, in order to completely unblock yellow ray, love all which are in relationship to it, with only hopes for other self-joy, peace and comfort. Could you please give me the condition of the instrument? It is as previously stated. That is a long one. Is there some way that we could, as a unit, do something to reduce the effect of psychic attack on the instrument and to optimize communicative opportunity? We have given you information concerning that which aids this particular mind-body-spirit complex. We can speak no further. It is our opinion, which we humbly offer, that each is in remarkable harmony with each for this particular third density illusion at this space-time nexus. Meds are very strong for this one particularly. Ow. Then I am correct in assuming this entity configures the light into symbology, and that is what we would call a physical presence. Is this correct? This is incorrect. The light is used to create a sufficient purity of environment for the entity to place its contents in a carefully created light vessel, which then uses the tools of light to do its working. The will and presence of these entities doing the working. The will and presence are those of the entity doing the working. Very close. Too long, far too long. I was wondering if that particular social memory complex from the series star evolved from trees. This approach is correctness. Second density vegetation form which graduated into third density upon this planet bearing the name of the dog were close to the tree, as you note. Imagine a giant swamp where you have almost exclusively dogs and trees and a lot of ways. Can you tell me something of the little growth on Gandalf's leg, what caused it and if it is a danger to him? The cause of such growth has been previously discussed. The danger of the physical body complex is slight given the lack of repeated stimulus to anger. What else is necessary in the instrument acceptance? This is correct. The case with this instrument being delicate, since it must totally accept much which the limitations it now experiences causes to occur involuntarily. This is a pre and constant choice. Is there another query at this time? Are you speaking parts of the stones of the East Island? Was the question. Could you de-roughen it, elucidate a bit? There is intervening material before we may do so. Long questions. Whose reactor? This was what you may call a drone sent by Confederation which malfunctioned. It was moved to an area where its destruction would not cause infringement upon the will of the mind-body-spirit complexes. It was then detonated. Sorry to ask the unimportant question. I was thinking of the future readers and that they would be totally mystified as to how much. Was there a significance with respect to the hawk that landed the other day just outside of the kitchen window? This is correct. We may note that we find it interesting that queries offered to us are often already known. We assume that our confirmation is appreciated. What do you mean by their other selves being harvestable? The other selves with whom those beings are concerned are those which did not attain harvest during second major cycle. I still don't completely understand Ra's view of human evolution, but I'm getting a picture, and it's a pretty good one. It would say the species almost died, or harvested itself, and this happened during the Ice Age, and then 25,000 before that, and 25,000 before that, and then none of those, let's say, we'll get the aliens to come and help us type of evolutionary dead ends happened, and we just remained blissfully ignorant as a species and decided to basically hump around. And that is a fairly good view of what Ra is saying. in my view. Actraiser. Damn, that's good music. Wow. Fucking hell. Thirsty. I feel like that. Wow. You need to get this thing mounted on a wall. Pitää vaan esitellä sillä, että tässä on kaverit. Tuottakaa sitä jonkun aikaa itseksenne. Ei mullekaan ihan täysin heti avautunut. Mulla meni joku 20 minuuttia katsoa ja sitten tajusin, että siinä on oikeasti niinku keskustelu, mitä ne käy ne lamput keskenään. Siinä on joku semmoinen syntaksi ja dialekti tai joku semmoinen, että ne puhuu niinku jotain semmoista kieltä. Mä en tarkoita sillä lailla koodausta, vaan sillä lailla, että niillä on joku keskustelu. Sitten meni joku pari kuukautta semmoista aikatasasta tuijottamista, että meni semmoinen 3-4 tuntia päivässä sillä lailla, että mä klikkailin jotain muuta ja sitten mä kattelin aina, että mitä tässä tapahtuu, sitten mä klikkailin muuta. Sitten alkoi paljastua semmoinen, että nyt mä tajutan. Tuossa on ihan vilkkuu, mitä itse haluaa. You can make that thing flash anything you want it to make. Basically. And all I want to do is make a really good EP from home. I mean, like, you wouldn't believe it. So where were we? Things at the home are good, but I need my own apartment. And I mean faster rather than later. Usually sooner rather than later, but let's go with faster. The job isn't as much a hurry, but it is a hurry. And that's about it. Once I paid off all my debts and bills and get a decent computer, I'll sit down for a while. But I believe that I will work fairly on and off for the next 20 years. And I need a job. I don't need a 1 year thing. I need a job. Like make me an offer type deal. I'm thinking talking to the unemployment office and making a short, like perhaps a rudimentary chart on my own, but nothing like a resume when I'm working there. Just trying to discuss what I've actually all done and completed in a reasonable time and say that I need her like professional help doing the resume because I don't trust myself. I need a professional. And we need to come up with a sufficient number of corporate interests so that I can get an actual job from game design to moving company work to healthcare to alternative healthcare and yada 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 yada. We need to find a place. So maketh me an offer, I will look to it. Game testing and perhaps system design is most I could do. I know I can't design a real working computer system for you. Because if I could, I would have done it already. Old Folks Home for Old Computers, Part 5 billion. Now we need a lot of funding for this. Actually, it's one of the cheapest ideas I've come across that I would actually work for. Find old computers that actually work, but aren't just around. Or like in store, people are throwing them away. They're found in municipal dump heaps or whatever. And hook them up and downclock them so that they will work for the longest possible period of time, and run some kind of communally helpful program of them, and place them in preferably rented community apartments run by individuals interested in the program, and will be run to heat that will be comfortable but not harmful to the environment, so that throughout the wintry year it should feel warm, perhaps to the touch if you are snooping around, but not more than that. I wouldn't say without the keys, mind you, but you know what I mean. That would be about 200 individual computers in a small apartment with an electric bill per slot of 5 kilowatt hours for the whole system. And the idea is just to give people a place where they can deposit their computers and know that they will be taken care of in a respectful and long-term manner. It's retirement home for all computers. It isn't anything fancy, but that's one of the few ideas that I've come up with that seem to hold. I would need some amount of starting cash that I don't have, and I don't have the marketability for the idea to go public. Who knows? Maybe somebody will watch this podcast and go like, ha! But perhaps not. So it seems to me that my go-to answer is help me get the next episode of my Masters Finland online. I mean, if somebody really asks me what I think they should be helping me do. No, that's too simple. Pause. Nothing on my topic. My online self is not sated. I must stare at magic wall. Bleed my eyes out. Rat race. I'm not good at farming. I'm pre-farming. hunting cat, I'm fairly good at that. It worries me. I may have to evolve. You know what I mean? Find a really good farmer girl. I mean somebody who's really good with a hoe. Buck. Mercy. I do believe I have the vippa. Vittu hauska yhteys. I said this is a, let's say, consciously funny community. Boa. Let's do this. Soul Blazer. Oh, beautiful. It's miraculous that I'm up this early. Wow, I didn't even get any sleep last night. It's amazing. We are not recognizing this debate. That geothermal. That would be wind and geothermal, right? So earthquake at 2 point something. It's from the Helsinki main thing, quite obviously. We detected it. And it's about a 2 or something. And the geothermal energy is present, and wind power effects of past conflicts seem apparent. I was thinking about the dark side of the moon. What are the chances of a lunar base existing, and to serve whose interests? We are a greedy bunch. What do you think? It's an open question. A moon base. Man, that's a good question. I'm gonna have to go with no. Though it'd be a fascinating idea to imagine an alien civilization hiding itself there. But an actual moon base, I would say no. I still believe that we are, if under a zoo hypothesis, under such scrutiny that we won't be found by alien garbage bags on the moon. I mean, it seems to be oriented around up your face. This is your food supply type activity. I mean, based on what I can tell. Something along the lines of poking us through giant testing machines designed to be food-like, or give food to you through systems or channels we don't have the ability to understand. Designed by perhaps people who have the ability to understand them initially, but not after they start upgrading themselves. Perhaps individuals like Microsoft. Moo cow. Moo cow. Moo cow. Beautiful. Were the entities of the red planet following the law of one prior to leaving the red planet? The entities of the red planet were attempting to learn the laws of love, which form one of the primal distortions of the law of one. However, the tendencies of those people towards bellicose action caused the difficulties in the atmospheric environments of the planet that it became inhospitable for third density experience before the end of its cycle. Thus, the red planet entities were unharvested and continue in illusion to attempt to learn the law of love. Is this inconvenience imminent within a few years? This inconvenience or disharmonious Warpiter complex has begun several years in the past. It shall continue unabated for a period of approximately 30 of your years. Nah. answer the bell for it. Not just Twitter. Go forth and rejoice, for I have bought this time bitterly. It comes at a high cost. You have my permission to use it in your dad jokes. I bought it barely. Valuable time to me. Now your device is a bigger tap. Cracketh me up. That's full of Geo. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. Supposed to make a card then. It's a tea bag. Now work, both of you, please, so this doesn't become difficult for me. Do you work, Mr. Music Video Man? I'm not gonna pause and try with Windows Movie Maker because it's gonna ruin my video. So I'm just gonna open with Media Player. No video. Fuck you. You fucking teabag. If you can't afford the bleeps, maybe you should stay out of the kitchen. Slowly getting you guys introduced to each other. Oh my god, it works. So, we're gonna make a thing. It's gonna be Anssi Kelas enää milloinkaan. And when he says gone, we're gonna cut the starch, right? Picard saying gone. Not Picard, Kirk saying gone. Then we're gonna be really funny about it. Enää milloinkaan. I'm funny. This moment of joke is now. I can discuss time later. Enää milloinkaan. It'd be so good. I shouldn't look at my own face, I get so uncomfortable. I look ugly. Anyway, that's all for this update.